What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Crew 2, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the War Hero story, going over all 12 steps to get this done as fast as possible. So starting right off here with step number 1, house in a corn farm. Find the house in front of the corn farm, north of Amarillo, north of Dallas, and southwest of Central Plains area. So step number 1 requires you to head over to this old farm that's located north of Amarillo, which luckily isn't too hard to find. It's going to be located right here. Now, the fastest way I found to get here is going to be from the speed trap that's located pretty close by, called the Central Plains Speed Trap. It's going to be right here. This is going to be the closest way to get there. Now, you could also spawn on the other side as well to like the skills over here or the races, but I just feel like the one that's located on this side is a little bit faster. Moving over to step number 2, Grandpa's house. Travel from Central Plains between Dallas and Chicago to the house located south of St. Louis with any ground vehicle. So step number 2 requires you to find a house located near St. Louis, or at least south of it for that matter, in between the Central Plains. So you guys can also leave right from the house that was in step number 1. The location of this house is kind of hard to find. I was having issues with it mainly because it was snowing and I literally can't make out anything that was going on, but luckily the location of the house will be right here. Moving over to step number 3, shopping center in Clarksdale. Travel from Central Plains between Dallas and Chicago to the shopping center located in Clarksdale, far northeast of Dallas, near the Mississippi River with any ground vehicle. So step number 3 requires you to leave from the Central Plains area and head over to Clarksdale. So luckily you guys can spawn back over here to this speed trap, which will get you a little bit closer instead of leaving from the house in the previous step. And luckily the shopping place is going to be pretty close by as well. Moving over to step number 4, Airshow in Miami Airport. Travel from Clarksdale, far northeast of Dallas, to the aircraft hangar located at Miami Airport with any ground vehicle. So step number 4 will require you to drive all the way to Miami from the Clarksdale area. This is about 26 miles away, so I recommend driving something like a hypercar, an F1 vehicle, maybe even a touring car, just to get there a little bit faster, but luckily finding the hangar is pretty easy. The location of that will be right here. Moving over to step number 5, Norfolk's Harbor. Travel from Miami to the bay in front of a liner located in Norfolk, southeast of Washington, with any ground vehicle. So step number 5 requires you to leave from Miami and then head over to the Norfolk area and find the liner that's located in the harbor. So what I recommend doing for this one is spawning over here to this street race. It's basically on the tip of Miami. Then you guys can jump on the highway and head over to the liner that's located over here. Now, the actual location for this is going to be located inside of the harbor in this general area over here. So what I recommend doing is putting the waypoint on the corner of the street, because I noticed if you put it inside of there, it literally does not work for some reason, and you can drive into the harbor right here. Moving over to step number 6, World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Travel from Norfolk, southeast of Washington, to the World War II Memorial located in Washington with any ground vehicle. So step number 6 requires you to leave from the Norfolk area and head over to the Washington Memorial over there, which luckily is actually pretty close by from step number 5. Moving over to step number 7, new home for Grandpa. Travel from Washington to the Grandpa's house located in New Braunfels, south of Dallas, with any ground vehicle. So step number 7 requires you to leave from Washington, then head all the way to New Braunfels, which is pretty far away. This will be 26 miles away, similar to going to the Miami airport in the previous step there. So make sure you guys are driving something decently quick so you can get to this location pretty fast. Moving over to step number 8, Airshow and Navajo Trail. Travel from New Braunfels south of Dallas to the parking near an air race track located in Navajo Trail with a ground vehicle, a plane, or a boat. So step number 8 requires you to leave from the New Braunfels area and head over to the Navajo Trail. That's actually pretty close by where this air race is located. Now, because of where this one's actually located, you guys can also use a plane if you would like to get to this area a little bit quicker. Moving over to step number 9, restaurant in Santa Fe. Travel from Navajo Trail far west of Dallas to the restaurant located in Santa Fe with any ground vehicle. So step number 9 requires you to head over to Santa Fe to this restaurant from the Navajo Trail area. So for this, I recommend using a rally raid vehicle because a hypercar is going to be pretty useless trying to do this terrain here. I mean, this is going to be pretty crazy. So I recommend a rally raid vehicle. This will be about 11 miles away. Moving over to step number 10, Aircraft Cemetery. Travel from Santa Fe northwest of Dallas to the white aircraft hangar located in the Aircraft Cemetery far southwest of Santa Fe with any ground vehicle. So step number 10 requires you to leave from Santa Fe and travel all the way to the Aircraft Cemetery, which will be about 16 miles away from Santa Fe. Moving over to step number 11, San Bernardino's hangar. Travel from the Aircraft Cemetery far southeast of Las Vegas to the hangar located in San Bernardino, northeast of Los Angeles with any ground vehicle. So for step number 11, you will have to leave from the Aircraft Cemetery. Personally, I recommend just leaving from the hangar that was in step number 10 located right here. This is going to be about 20 miles away from this location. Moving over to the final step, Airfield on the Pacific Coast. Travel from San Bernardino northeast of Los Angeles to the airport near Big Sur between Los Angeles and San Francisco with any ground vehicle. So for the final step, you will have to leave from San Bernardino and head over to the airfield and or hangar all the way near Big Sur. So for this one, you will actually have to come toward more of the middle of the area here because I noticed by the hangar, it doesn't actually work there, but luckily you can just jump on the highway. Now, unfortunately, it is snowing for me currently when I was recording this, so obviously I can't really see much of the details, but this will be about 14 miles away from San Bernardino.